Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's news update for Friday, October the 25th, 2013. The Palestinian Authority has reportedly launched a campaign urging countries to not conduct business with Israeli settlements in the West Bank and in East Jerusalem. Senior Palestinian Authority economic official Mohammed Shatayeh, who is also a negotiator in the peace talks with Israel, told the Financial Times yesterday that the PA's Minister of Foreign Affairs has been sending letters for almost a month already to 50 countries that are home to over 500 companies currently doing business over the Green Line, telling them to withdraw their investments or halt their activities. The Times quoted Shatayeh as saying, "The duty of the government is to tell the private sector company, maybe you don't know you are investing in something illegal." Adding, "We wrote letters to every single country that has national investments in settlements or countries that have Israeli companies with business in settlements." According to the report in the Times, the Palestinians sent letters to governments in Europe, South America, South Africa, Australia, Japan, and South Korea. The PA also targeted Israeli companies such as Bank Hapoalim and Bank Leumi that have ties to settlements and that operate overseas. The Times said Shatayeh also told them that the Palestinians were also calling on foreign countries to, quote, label settlers who hold dual citizenship. He said if you have settlers with double nationality, the country that is issuing or has the nationality of these settlers should notify them to tell them your presence in that territory is illegal. Ynet reports that Israel's Foreign Ministry spokesman Yigal Palmor said in response to the Times report that no spin can change the fact that they, meaning the Palestinians, are continuing an anti-Israel campaign despite the peace talks and despite a clear promise not to do so. Adding, if they choose to do this, they should also state clearly that if successful, the initiative will cost the jobs of 20,000 to 30,000 Palestinians. What appeared to be a makeshift bomb or grenade was thrown at an Israeli bus today in the West Bank. The bus was transporting students to school and was traveling in the northern West Bank near the village of Yabud, west of Jenin. No injuries or damage was reported, and IDF forces were sweeping the area and said they could not confirm the identity of the perpetrator at this time. A delegation from the Simon Wiesenthal Center met with Pope Francis in the Vatican yesterday. The 60-member delegation included Holocaust survivors as well as Christians and a prominent Muslim. Dean and founder of the center, Rabbi Marvin Heyer, spoke at the meeting where he raised the issue of growing anti-Semitism and of intolerance across Europe. He said to the Pope, "Your Holiness, we know that we have you as an ally in our struggles against anti-Semitism, and we want to reiterate to you that you have an ally in the Simon Wiesenthal Center in your struggle to secure the rights of religious minorities everywhere, especially endangered historic Christian communities in Egypt, Iraq, and beyond." The Pope, on his part, reaffirmed his condemnation of all forms of anti-Semitism. Francis said, "I would like to underline that the problem of intolerance must be faced in its entirety." Adding, when any minority is persecuted and marginalized on account of its religious beliefs or ethnic origin, the good of society as a whole is placed in danger, and we must all consider ourselves affected. Executive Director of the American Jewish Committee, David Harris, was honored this week for his work in combating anti-Semitism. Harris was presented the Metropolitan Chrysostomos Award by leading Greek-American organization, the Oxy Day Foundation. The foundation said they chose Harris in recognition of his lifelong contribution to combating anti-Semitism, discrimination, and intolerance, and for his efforts to forge strong bonds between the Greek and Jewish peoples. Former U.S. Ambassador to Greece Thomas Miller presented the award to the AJC leader during the third annual Washington Oxy Day celebration, which was held at the U.S. Capitol building and was attended by members of Congress as well as ambassadors and other dignitaries. Harris said, "This award is an inspiration to me and AJC to understand that there is always something else, something more we could do." Adding, when it comes to moral courage, Metropolitan Chrysostomos set the bar incredibly high. The award's namesake was a leader of the Greek Orthodox Church on the island of Zakynthos, who together with Mayor Lucas Carrer saved all 275 Jews on the island during the Nazi occupation. When the Nazis asked Chrysostomos for a list of all Jews living on Zakynthos, he produced a list of 2 names only, his and the mayor's. In 1978, Yad Vashem named Chrysostomos and Carrer righteous among the nations for saving the Jews during the Holocaust. And last year's recipient of the award was Nobel laureate, author, and Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel. The Jewish Week reports that a guide that looks at the innovative approaches of North American Jewish organizations released their 9th annual list this week of the 50 most innovative Jewish groups. 18 new organizations made the list this year of Slingshot, among them Join for Justice, a community organizing group, and the Guides First Day School, the Isaac Luria Academy. Other newcomers on the Slingshot list include City Harvest Kosher Initiative, a hunger relief project in New York, New Ground, a Muslim-Jewish partnership for change in Los Angeles, and The Kitchen, an alternative congregation in San Francisco. The guide also added 2 supplemental guides this year in order to encourage underrepresented categories to apply. The supplements are Disabilities and Inclusion and Women and Girls, and each category includes 18 organizations that support those populations, such as the Sunflower Bakery, a kosher bakery in Maryland that employs people with disabilities, Ramaz Tikva network of camps which serve and employ people with disabilities, and in the Women and Girls category, the Jewish Women's Archive and Advancing Women Professionals. Among the groups that made the list not for the first time, Rabbis Without Borders, BBYO Stand Up, The David Project, and Matan, among others. Slingshot's executive director Will Schneider said Slingshot is a resource highlighting the breadth and depth of the Jewish community at this moment, and it is relied upon by doers and donors alike. The leaders of the Jewish Federations of North America responded to the recent Pew Research study about Jewish Americans that suggested that young Jews are less engaged and connected to Jewish life and to their Jewish identity, with several suggestions for the most effective vehicles to engage young people in Jewish life. In an op-ed published yesterday in the Huffington Post and in the Jewish Daily Forward, Jewish Federation CEO Jerry Silverman and board chairman Michael Siegel called for, among other ideas, free Jewish preschool for every Jewish family, calling it a, quote, Jewish head start that will dramatically widen the pipeline of families entering Jewish life through this critical early gateway. They said it will place many more people on a path to further Jewish connection and Jewish education. The Federation leaders also stressed the need to increase the number of children attending Jewish summer camps and to stay connected and offer opportunities to Birthright alumni, as well as to establish Jewish development zones that would target areas that, despite having the highest Jewish density, have the lowest proportion of Jewish engagement. Silverman and Siegel said in their piece that we will be steadfast in driving this agenda, changing the direction in which we are heading, and ensuring that we not merely survive but also thrive and grow as a vibrant and meaningful American Jewish community. And this Sunday on L'Chaim here on Shalom TV, Mark Golub will host a roundtable discussion on the Pew Report on Jewish Americans, with a panel that includes 2 of America's foremost Jewish demographers, Dr. Stephen Cohen, who's conducted many studies of American Jewry and was on the Pew committee that crafted the study, and Professor Beth Ami Horowitz, who designed and conducted the 1991 New York Jewish Population Study. Also on the panel are Dr. Stephen Boehm, who heads the American Jewish Committee's Contemporary Jewish Life Department, and a leading analyst of Jewish affairs, Micha Halpern. The special roundtable edition of L'Chaim airs Sunday at noon and 7 p.m., and will then be repeated on Monday at 3 p.m. and on Wednesday at 9 p.m. and midnight, as well as Thursday at 3 p.m. And tonight on Shalom TV, live Shabbat services from New York City's Central Synagogue begin at 6, followed by Shabbat a cappella at 7:30, and then later at 9:30, a concert with singer-songwriters Julie Silver and Beth Schaefer from the Union for Reform Judaism's biennial in Toronto. That's here on Shalom TV and shalomtv.com. And that's Shalom TV's news update for Friday, October the 25th, 2013. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.